It's worth bearing in mind that there are quite a lot of differences in the way that different jurisdictions approach issues surrounding divorce. Mainly these are to do with the financial issues, and there are very great discrepancies between various countries. It's difficult to generalise, but one of the main things I think that I would pick up is that England will always look at the whole situation. They'll always look at assets that have been brought into the marriage. They may even look at assets that have been acquired post-separation. Need is the watchword in English law, and that's not necessarily the case in other countries. Another difference that there is between the jurisdictions of England and other jurisdictions is that very frequently parties will enter into prenuptial agreements, i.e. agreements that have been made before marriage, or indeed even postnuptial agreements which have been made after parties have been married. And many jurisdictions will uphold those agreements. England can, if they think it's fair, but they are not going to be bound by them, and that can be a very good reason for starting proceedings in this country if that could lead to a very different outcome than it would in your own jurisdiction. The issue of conduct is another good reason for keeping divorce proceedings in England, because it's not something that the courts in England will take into consideration. They very much leave that out of the equation when considering what's fair. In other jurisdictions that's not the case, and conduct can be taken into consideration, and you can be penalised for ways in which you have acted, for example having affairs or relationships or any other type of conduct. The English courts have a fairly robust approach to making sure that all of the financial information is in front of the court before they make their decision. And in fact, I would say they're probably one of the best jurisdictions in the world for that. Other countries are not quite so robust, and you may find decisions being made without all of the information being in front of them. Some other jurisdictions have quite slow and technically quite cumbersome procedures for divorce, whereas England is fairly user-friendly, straightforward and relatively quick.